you have easy access to all these facilities, which makes people splurge more. Like they rather spend now and worry about it later. So I think that's the mentality. So coupled with our schools, which doesn't really emphasize on financial planning, on how to manage their money. So yes, I'm actually looking at some of the questions that are coming in from our viewers. So let's pick on this one. What percentage of my personal income should I set for investing? This is from Ashley. So what do you say, Ian?
I would say a good amount. It depends. It depends whether you're staying overseas. Where you're staying out of town, in a different state where you have to rent or not. But I would say definitely more than 10%. All right.
Okay.
For those who can, as much as possible. If you are very young, 22, 23, just started working, most of them staying with parents, right? I would say a good number is at least 50%. Okay, you can save half. This, of course, there is an exception. If your income is 2,000 a month, then it's difficult lah. Okay, but normally those, if you're younger, you can save more. For my clients, generally, I would say a healthy rate should be about 30%.
Okay.
30%. But it comes down to what your commitments are, what your situation is, and so on. But definitely more than 10 and up to 50. If you can do more, I would say you probably can enjoy life a bit more. If you're saving 70, 80%, and I have 1 or 2 clients that I basically say you can enjoy life a bit more.
I think the comments coming in are curious about the portfolio. Like, what do you recommend for? Of course, that really depends on what is your income level, what is your expectations like, what is your age. So let's start with someone who is young, right? That you are talking about, someone in their 20s or 30s. What should their portfolio be like? Like, what is their ratio of stocks, bonds? What should they look into? What do they always look at?
Portfolio, right? The answer to a lot of this would be it depends. It depends whether you can handle. I would say for my advice to clients is 2 things. One is whether they can handle the risk. So there is no point trying to invest in something very risky that, for example, in this current economic climate, I think over the past 2 months, you can see the markets have dropped 30-40% for certain stocks and things like that. There's no point if that spooks you, right? That spooks you and you say, I don't touch it anymore. So then there's no point. Then you better do something that you don't need to manage so much. And then number 2 is how much effort do you want to put in, right? So for me, I advise, I can facilitate some investment, but depends on how much you yourself as the client want to put effort in. So to build your portfolio, to answer the question directly, to build your portfolio, I would say you need a mix of different levels of risk. I'd like to keep it simple for people. I would say let's say you have something a bit more defensive and something a bit more offensive, right? So you have something whereby you close your eyes, go to sleep. Even in turbulent market conditions, you'll get your 3, 4, 5%, right? Normally this is between 3 to 5%. And then you have your growth portfolio or your growth section in your portfolio, where in good times you make money and in bad times you lose money, right? So you have a balance of these 2. And depending on how greedy you are or how much risk you plan, or how soon you may need the money, then you allocate based on that. So if you're completely balanced, you say, perfect half, then 50% in your growth portfolio, and then 50% in something where you can go to sleep, and then no problem about it. If you feel that you want to maximize returns, I think I just had a call with a client yesterday, and she wanted to maximize returns during this period. Then I think you can go 60-70% of your portfolio into something higher risk. The only thing is that be careful of when you may need the money. So if you need the money very, very soon meaning within the next 1 year plus, then try not to do something high risk, because you never know. If you say your time for investing, your investment horizon 5 years plus, then then high risk normally, high risk being smart, not all these semi-pseudo scams and all things like that, legit.
Plenty around.
Legit stock market investments traditionally, or even property is something that if you need to think about how much money you need. So it would depend, but you do definitely need a low risk section, and you need a high risk section. Okay, a growth and a stabilizer. You need both. You can't say I want to do all one side, right? It's like saying you want to play football, all 11 strikers, because strikers are most likely to score goals, right? So I play all 11 strikers, most likely to score a goal, right? You can't do that. You have to have your midfielders and defenders as well. Yes, you can have fewer defenders, so your formation is more offensive, no problem, right? But you must have that. And of course, some people say, they have no need for insurance when they're young. I have a friend tell me that he can self-insure because he's got so much money, investments rolling like that. But I am of the opinion that you should have at least some basic medical insurance. Okay? It's like your goalkeeper, basically. Think about it like your goalkeeper has some basic medical insurance. Nothing too expensive. If you're paying anything more than $250 a month for medical insurance and you are below 35, I think it's a little bit inflated in price. Okay, so basically you just need something basic as far as possible that doesn't need further upgrading. Okay, because you'll be told, I think we've all been told that we need to upgrade every so often. But yeah, that's medical. Now, when it comes to other sets of insurance, then it depends what are your liabilities, how many kids you have, your responsibility, and so on. So that is another topic, not related to your investment portfolio.
So, from what we can learn from Ian is that there should be a balance between offense and defense. And I like the analogy of it's like a football game. You have strikers, you have defenders, and you have goalkeepers. You want to make sure all of them are in line, is present, but the ratio would depend on what is your own objective. So here's the thing, right? We have a couple more questions here, which is, okay, let's take this one from Feng Chen, right? How do one plan for retirement? Is there a particular tool? Is there a particular calculations?